All right. Tonight's Thoughts from 5D is called How the Tools You Use Shape You. This is Thoughts from 5D. So I was talking to someone about the fact that I use a very specific set of tools to make everything I do. Everything I do, by and large, uses like a very unorthodox, specialized. Wow, excuse me. Wow, I think that's the first time I've like sneezed on air. How embarrassing. That use a very specialized set of tools that very few other people use. And I would actually think that like the specific set of tools I use, because I use so many, like there's not a single other person on earth that uses that combination of tools. And I was explaining to this person why I am like that. And, because they made a good point, which was that like oftentimes people just learn a tool, let's say Photoshop or Adobe Premiere, just to make it concrete, and they just use it. They just like learn the tool and then they use the tool. And I have gone out of my way to like learn all the tools, all the video editing software, all the animation software, all the 3D software, all the image editors, all the web design tools, I'm missing like 100 music production tools. And why? Why? Because obviously there's like an enormous opportunity cost for this. Because while I'm learning another set of tools, other people are actually just like getting good at the tool that they're using. And you can make a strong case that my method is bad, and I am amenable to that proposition. But the reason I have chosen to do it my way is that I am in this for the long haul, and I have a really high amount of conviction that the tools you use shape what you make with them. And the reason for this is very simple. What I'm about to say, it may sound highfalutin and convoluted, but it's actually very simple. And what it is that the tools, different tools make different things easier and more difficult than other tools, right? So you tend to do the things that tools make easy more than you do the things that tools make difficult. So to make this specific, I feel like I'm going to use a really weird example, but I like it. There's a type of drill called an impact drill. And what an impact drill does, I think it's also maybe called an impact wrench, but I know it as an impact drill. The way drills work, like electric drills, they just spin, right? And that's great. But what impact drills do is they push and then they turn, and then they push and then they turn. And one of the things that this is incredibly useful for is you can drill two pieces of wood together without making what's called a pilot hole. So normally, God, this is so convoluted. I don't know why I chose this example. Normally, what you have to do is you have to drill a hole through the two pieces of wood, and then you screw in the screw, because otherwise there's not enough torque, enough force. I feel like it's like I'm going from bad to worse, and I'm trying to make this like very simple explanation. It's just like not that simple. Basically, you have to do two things. You have to make a hole, and then you have to screw the hole, because you can't do both at the same time because the screw just won't go through. But this impact drill, because it pushes and turns rather than just turning, it actually can, it's very loud. It makes it, but the screw will just go right in. So it makes like screwing wood together, take 20% as long. So it saves like 80% of the time, right? So because of that, you drill more holes into the wood and you build sturdier things if you have this tool. It's actually a really good example. It's just a bit convoluted if you're not up on if your drill game ain't that hot, if you know what I'm saying. Pause. But everything is like that. Different video editing software makes different video editing tasks more easy or more difficult. Some software, one thing requires 1 click, and in another piece of software, that same thing requires 3 clicks. Let's just say something like reversing video, so that something goes backwards. If you can just hit the letter R and it reverses it, you'll experiment with reversing video and what kind of effect that might have a lot more than if it's like go up to this menu, click here, go down, another menu opens, and then move up and click reverse. It's annoying, so you don't do it as much unless you really want to do it. Same thing with transitions. I hope I'm not going to belabor the point too much, but some software you just like drag and it makes a transition, and others you have to like be very deliberate to like add a transition and so you just play with transitions more in the easy software than in the difficult software. So I just think, this is I thought to share this because I just think this is something that people don't really think about. They just like get a tool and then somebody teaches them how to use it, or they take a course, or they trial and error it. And then they just do that. And they're like, okay, well, this is a tool I use. I don't know. Like, this is just what I do. And I don't like that because I have very specific ideas about what I want to create. And so I just go around. This process is mostly done. I have had a very stable workflow for a couple years now. And there's nothing I wish my workflow did that it doesn't currently do, knock on wood. And so I consider the process that I went through like super worth it. That's the word I'm looking for. It was super worth it because now I have this toolkit of tools to do all the things I want to do that I love. So what that means is I love doing the thing that I want to do because all the tools I use are so awesome for me. They think like I think that I never have this feeling that I'm fighting with my tools. But I had to go through so many tools to get to that point because I had to learn the tools. I had to like learn them at a pretty decent level to get to understand how they think and what they make easy and what they make difficult. And then sometimes I had to try very obscure tools. A lot of the tools I use, like I've never met anyone else or even heard of anyone else who uses that tool because it's just not that common a tool. But I went down deep rabbit holes like of trying all the tools because once I did that a few times and found that there's a relatively obscure piece of software that in my opinion is just so much better than the popular tools for what I want to do, then it incentivized me to kind of do that for all aspects of my workflow. So the key message of this video is that, the tools that you use, they shape you and they shape what you make because they make certain things easy and certain things difficult. And human nature is such that you will tend to do more of the things that the tools you use make easy and fewer of the things that the tools you use make difficult. So it's best to find tools that make easy the things you want to do a lot and make difficult the things you don't care about that much. And, that's about it. That's like the gist of the idea. I think that this is significantly more impactful than it sounds. I feel like now that I just finished this video, it's like, yeah, dude, whatever, I get it. But not really. This is a pretty profound idea, and it's really it's a much bigger deal than the amount of time that humanity spends focused on it. So anyway, hopefully you know what to do. If you like the video, if you want to help my channel, what you can do is leave a comment with a timestamp from 1 second to 1 minute of a part of this video that you really liked, and that will really help me grow and, you know, add to short form content that more people will watch. And thank you in advance for that. And if not, go fuck yourself. Peace.
Otis5D.xyz.
Go fuck yourself.